Welcome to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita, NAMI Kansas, and K-Sun Community Radio. NAMI stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are the largest grassroots advocacy network for people with mental illness and their family members. With over 800 national affiliates and 15 Kansas affiliates, we provide awareness, support, education, and advocacy for people affected by mental illness. Our purpose here is to provide a community conversation on K-Sun Radio that provides insight into what it's like living with a mental illness. My name is David E. Larson. I am so very pleased and proud to be your host today, and I am a person who lives with mental illness. I am in recovery for major clinical depression. Like everyone, I struggle with the ups and downs of being fully human, but I am also doing okay. I know that I have many gifts to offer my family and my friends and my work and my community. It is my pleasure today to introduce for our guest for today. Your name is Heidi.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Heidi. Say hello to our audience.
Hello, it's nice to meet you.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed.
That's okay. So, Heidi, in your own personal words, can you share with us about what your diagnosis is?
My diagnosis is schizophrenia with depression. I was diagnosed in 1999.
Okay, and what does schizophrenia with depression look like for you?
Well, I hear voices. I hear commands, telling me to do, like to call my mom or go check the mail or go outside or, I hear a lot of commands.
Okay.
I had some visual hallucinations early on, and they were very, very troubling and very scary.
Okay. Now, you told me earlier that you were diagnosed in 1999.
Yes.
Is that correct? And but you think that this probably was happening much earlier than that.
Yes, I started kind of withdrawing into myself when I was in college.
Okay.
And it just kind of started from the stress of studying, and I just kind of started withdrawing into myself and becoming sort of antisocial and kind of isolating a little bit.
Yeah, isolation is bad news for those of us with mental health conditions, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's so easy for us to isolate.
Was there anybody in your close group of family and friends that noticed that there was a change with you?
Yes, they noticed my behavior. I was kind of violent on a couple of occasions, and I had some troubling relationships, and that didn't work out. And I moved into a hotel, and because I thought, I would get better if I was around people. But, at the time I didn't know that I had a mental illness, and so I was just kind of thinking off the top of my head what would be helpful. And so I stayed in a hotel in West Wichita for about 8 months, and then my cousin came to the hotel, and he said, Heidi, we're really worried about you, and we need you to go to St. Joe Hospital and get evaluated. And so that's where I was diagnosed, at St. Joe.
Okay. Now, you said earlier that you were going to college. What were you studying in college?
I was in nursing school.
Okay. And that was pretty tough, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very rigorous, coursework, and I think that kind of triggered some of the inward feeling, kind of drawing inward.
Okay.
And I think, that was probably what caused
The buildup of stress.
the buildup of stress, yes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you enjoyed about nursing?
I enjoyed helping people. I enjoyed caring about people. I enjoyed learning, about, different diseases and machines.
Do you
and-
consider yourself an introvert?
Yeah, I'm an introvert, but I think that, I was kind of antisocial at one point. So,
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to come right back to that question again. This is Our Own Voice on KSUN Community Radio, and we're talking with Heidi. Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita, NAMI Kansas, and KSUN Community Radio. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and before we took our break, we were talking with Heidi. And Heidi, the question was posed to you whether or not you were an introvert. And so how do you answer that?
well, I am an introvert. I think I like to read books, and I like to stay at home and play with my cats. And
How many cats do you have?
I have 2.
Wonderful.
She's authorized to have another one.
Yeah.
Mittens and Snowball.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are one of these cats white?
Yes. One is white with a gray tail.
Would I suppose that it's Snowball?
Yes.
How did I figure that out? It's the simple things.
Yes. So, I want to go back to the stress that you experienced in college. Who was it that keyed in on things that were happening? You mentioned that your cousin came to visit you at the hotel that you were at.
Yes, and and I was kind of making poor choices, social choices. I probably was a little sexually promiscuous.
Okay.
And that was something that kind of drove me, from relationship to relationship. And I just wasn't making any healthy relationships.
Okay.
And like you said, you were making some poor choices.
Making poor choices, yes.
Mm-hmm. And your family and your friends recognized all this.
Yes, I think they kind of. I quit jobs. I was having a hard time. I quit my job as an RN.
You quit your job? You weren't fired?
No, I wasn't fired. I quit because I was getting exhausted, and I was afraid I was going to make a mistake, actually. And so I just decided to quit, and I tried other jobs. I tried rental car sales, or rental car, and I tried Rainbows United.
So did you have a lot of interaction with people then?
I had some, but I was so.
Is that one of the key factors that you have difficulty with people in general, or because you're an introvert, or not?
No, I think it's because of the illness. I think, the illness kind of drives you inward. And, if you're an introvert already, that's just a double whammy. And so there were just, things like that happened that my family was kind of worried about.
Okay. Well, let's take a moment to define something here. A mental illness is a medical condition. People don't realize that, but it is a medical condition that has an environmental trigger. And that means that whether it is stress or possibly drugs, recreational drugs, alcohol, it can be most anything that happens to be that environmental trigger that sort of pushes you over the edge and you start exhibiting these things. Your brain has too much to do, and it just sort of succumbs to the illness.
Yeah, that's the way I felt. It was just overwhelming.
Okay. Can describe more about what you mean by how does it feel? Because I know I asked you that earlier out in the hallway. How does it feel to have schizophrenia?
Confusing.
Okay.
Sometimes you're wondering if your thoughts are accurate or not. And I think when you're hearing voices, sometimes you wonder, is this the truth, or are these voices lying to me?
So you literally would have your mind playing tricks on you.
Yes.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, what are some of the things that you've done with NAMI?
I went to the NAMI walk.
Yay!
And that was, it was a lot of fun. We walked, I'm not sure how many miles it was, but...
Someone told me 2 and someone told me 3, so it's somewhere between 2 and 3.
Someone told me it was a 5K.
That wasn't a 5K.
It wasn't a 5K?
No.
No.
And I've got a picture somewhere of David when he
finished?
No, he was dressed up
as the Wizard of Recovery.
Really?
So, yeah.
Excellent.
We're going to take a quick break here, and we are talking with Heidi, and we'll be back shortly.
And I got to see this picture of the Wizard of Recovery.
Yes.
If you would like to learn more about the National Alliance on Mental Illness and how you can get involved in mental health advocacy, please visit our website at nami.org.
Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita, NAMI Kansas, and KSUN Community Radio. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So Heidi, help us understand that every person with a mental health condition can hope for a brighter future. Help us understand, how are you coping from day to day, from moment to moment?
Probably I would have to say first and foremost is prayer. I pray daily, and it seems to help calm me down and focus my thoughts, and getting a good night's sleep.
Yes. How many hours of sleep do you get in a night?
Oh, I usually go to probably anywhere from 8 to 10.
Okay. So people who sleep long hours, that's still okay. It can be very beneficial to sleep. So
would you view that as a sign, you think?
It can be. It can be a sign of depression, that's for sure. That's how I was.
Yeah, all those people who
into
just
it.
Don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, in fact, you mentioned earlier to me that faith is very important to you.
Yes, it is. I belong to a church, and just really enjoy the Bible study, and I know they care very much about me and how I'm doing, and they've even given me a job.
That is awesome.
Wow, that's excellent.
So I work as a custodian. Actually, I call it a cleaner. for about 2 or 3 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. But
And
that's still good.
Yeah, and I get paid $11 an hour. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
you know,
Do they need any more help? I'm sorry. I was sorry.
You also like reading Christian nonfiction, you said?
Yes, I enjoy reading nonfiction, Christian books,
And listening to music.
and listening to music. K-Love and Christian music is very soothing, and I like classical. Classical music seems to decrease my anxiety. And
Now, when you say classical, you're talking about Bach and Beethoven. You're not talking about classical rock.
I'm talking about Mozart.
Yeah, Mozart, okay.
Mozart.
Yeah.
Really enjoy him. And so, yeah, those are, and then my cats, you know, just taking care of them, having something to take care of, you know, is very helpful.
So
Okay.
the spiritual aspect of being involved in your church helps you focus. Am I right?
Yes.
Because you have a duty to the other people at the church, you know, and they're nice to you, and so on and so forth. And it goes both ways. But the prayer is actually what kind of keeps you focused. Am I right?
Yes, I know that God loves me, and when I pray, it helps my self-esteem,
Exactly.
makes me feel better, makes me feel more hopeful about life, and I think that it's important to have hope.
Yes, it
And,
is.
I, you know, just really appreciate God and Christ and the Bible.
And like we said earlier, like what David was asking about is, how do you get from point A to point B every day? And one of the ways is prayer, staying focused in that regard, right?
Right.
And then listen to some serious classical music, right?
Yes, and other music. I have a big CD collection, so of my
Okay.
favorite. I have a lot of Christian CDs.
Uh-huh.
I also have some classical and some 80s rock. I'm an 80s kid. So.
Really? So
Okay.
throw out some. Give me a name or two, a band you like from the 80s. Come on.
Heart
Heart.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Heart was good.
and
The
Journey.
The Wilson
Journey.
sisters and Journey.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, now you can go on. I'm satisfied.
It's pretty hard to follow up with the Wilson sisters. I mean, they were great there.
Yes, they were definitely.
So, and also you mentioned something about getting involved in community.
Yes, I decided I needed to get out more, and I went. I was a member of Breakthrough Club when I first got diagnosed, at the suggestion of my medical doctor, and then I stopped going because I got into another unhealthy relationship, and
Okay, well, we're going to take another quick break. We're talking with Heidi about living in recovery from mental illness. Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita, NAMI Kansas, and KSUN Community Radio. NAMI is a National Alliance on Mental Illness. Information on how to learn more about mental health and get involved with the mental health community at NAMI Wichita can be found. David Peterson, help us out here.
Well, thank you, David. I'm going to give you some credit for that beautiful introductory music. And we got to give Mike some credit for his technical support. over here.
Absolutely.
But the mission of NAMI Wichita is to provide education and support for persons with mental illness and families, to provide support for research on brain disorders, and to provide public education and advocacy to promote mental health systems change with the hope that persons with mental illness may achieve the highest possible quality of life. And we also are adding one more thing to our agenda as far as NAMI, and this goes nationwide, and that is to reduce stigma.
Yes.
Our number here in Wichita is 686-1373. That's a 316 area code. 316-686-1373. And we offer numerous classes and numerous support groups at a no-fee basis. If you feel like this was something that you would like, or if you have a family member that you feel like could benefit from this, please call 686-1373. Again, we have many classes for both family members and those experiencing a mental illness.
But you also have a Facebook, too.
We have Facebook, and we have our own website. So, but the easiest way probably to connect with us right now is to call. The 316-686-1373. That's our answering machine. I personally answer the messages there, maybe not on a daily basis. So if it's a crisis or emergency, please don't call. But if you have questions about NAMI and how it can benefit you, please call 316-686-1373.
That's wonderful, David. And Heidi, we're going to come back to you and share with us now about Breakthrough Club and how you have been participating with Breakthrough Club.
It's a wonderful organization. The people are very caring. They engage you when you walk in the door. They ask you, what would you like to help with today, or what would you like to do today? So you feel productive. You can help with the community lunch, serving, or helping out in the kitchen. I'm in the wellness unit, and I help clean up after lunch, or sometimes I'll help serve. It's just a great place to be if you don't have a job. I guess some people have jobs and go there too, but it gives you some place to go, so you're not stuck at home.
Okay. Well, tell us for a moment, who are some of the people that have helped you in your recovery? Who are helping you now, actually?
Well, Marty Kwai, she's a Breakthrough Club staff, and she's runs the Breathe Easy, Live Well class. And I attend her class. It's a smoking cessation class, and so I've been attending that, and it's been helpful for me. But still need to quit smoking. So
That's all right. You're working on it, and you're working towards the goal. That's good that you're working towards that.
yeah, thank you.
You bet. Who are some other people that have helped you and who are helping you now?
David. David's been the director. He's been very helpful. Sean.
Are we talking about either of these two Davids?
Nope.
No, David.
So you're trying to tell me there's a third David involved?
Yeah, there's a third David.
I see.
So yeah, and he's the director, and he's very helpful, very kind, very understanding, and it's a very compassionate place.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of the way that most, if not all, of the people that you've had experiences with that have to do with NAMI, they're all pretty nice, warm people that you like to speak with.
Yeah, I think they've all
And
had
very
their
inviting.
struggles.
Right.
Yeah, they all have their struggles, and I think they know how you're feeling. And like some people out in the community may not know how you're feeling, but when you go to Breakthrough Club, they ask you, how are you feeling today? Are you having a good day? And I really appreciate that.
That is awesome. And it's awesome that you've had so many people that have reached out to help you and guide you toward recovery. And we're grateful that you have experienced recovery and that you continue experiencing recovery. Recovery isn't just a final destination. It's something like a process. So I want to thank you, Heidi, for joining us today, for sharing with us about your life and your journey that you have had. We want to also thank everyone involved, Mike and David Peterson, and thank you for joining us today, and join us next time for Our Own Voice.